I'm A.L. Mamir. Today we are going to deal with risk reduction and mitigation of same. Introduction. There are many risks in reduction. Ignoring the same shall be a financial disaster for contractors. A brief summary along with the ways and means of mitigating same is given below. Risk when the scope and design is not fully clear. Knowing the full scope is fundamental requirement to value the cost of a project. The situation where the scope is not fully clear at the tendering stage is a present day reality in certain projects. This risk has increased owing to the challenge that the industry is facing in securing contracts in an increasingly difficult environment. Construction companies are also tempted, owing to the value and the competitive environment that they are facing, are more and more prepared to take such risk and even contemplating to reduce their usual margins to keep the company afloat at difficult times. There is another element to this puzzle now. New investors who are not that experienced in construction field but are willing to invest vast sums owing to the drying up of other traditional options. They are bringing in another problem that they are unable or unwilling to wait till their professional finalize the scope in all respects such as design, specification, etc. They want the construction to start at the earliest, which is jokingly called what they are asking today is actually wanted yesterday. The problem is further complicated by the presence of substandard professionals in the employer and contracting organizations as are finding it difficult to sustain top talent as a result of financial constraints. The difficulty with this group is that they are more than willing and pushing the employers to start the project at the earliest, as they see this as their best bet for their own survival. The risk can be overcome as follows. The contractors should always be asked and get the complete scope. There is a fundamental requirement to price a project correctly, particularly now as the margins have become lower and lower. They are unable to get the full scope. The next step is to divide the project into two portions, namely portions that the scope and the design are fully clear, so that the same can be estimated correctly. Then the second portion, the other portion, where the scope is not that clear, to be allocated with the realistic provisional sums. There is no necessity for the contractor to take the risk of the unknown, as it is not their making in the first place. Further, it is always advantageous for the contractor to have more and more amounts under provisional sum as he gets his attendance and markup, basically without much effort and in some cases without much financial expenditure. It is often said that the provisional sum is the prescription of the tender requirement, meaning the zero provisional sum is the best tender document. It is common knowledge in the construction circle that all the additional works or works which are finalized after the award of contract or during the construction period is always inflated at least by 10% when compared to the tender prices. Again, since the employers can't wait for his engineers to finalize the full scope and prepare the tender document accordingly, which often takes for a certain project can go up to 1 year and willing to start halfway, say around 30% provisional sum, then it is reasonable for him to expect the overall contract price is in excess of around 25%. This may be acceptable to some employers as they are getting the product early than anticipated, and the early return on the capital can offset such losses. Risk regarding underground conditions. There is a risk with regard to underground conditions. The contractors are often given a soil investigation report of the plot with a tender document. These soil reports contain so many qualifications that the full report is of no value in the contractual sense. There are costs such as soil improvement, different type of foundations than estimated, with the availability data, etc. This can have a huge impact, particularly in design and build contracts. We consider a 10-story building construction project, the actual soil met with, and the soil report initially given at the time of tender may be entirely different. The requirement now may be improvement of soil or other major changes to foundation than what was estimated at the time of tender. This cost can run into millions, and what was estimated to be a project with a reasonable profit can end up with huge loss. The contractor should be aware of the recent FIDIC edition of Design and Build projects, EPC turnkey projects. They are contrary to all the construction norms. The entire risk pertaining to the underground condition have been transferred to the contractor. This creates a situation that the client ends up paying such risk even if the same is not there. FIDIC's explanation was they are reacting to market situation where the employers are asking for the certainty of the price and certainty of the time, and hence let them pay a premium. It is not my intention to argue the fairness or moral behind all this. My concern is that the contractor should be aware of such risk. Do the necessary provisions in pricing the project. Some conditions of contract do have a remedy for this situation, which clauses under unforeseen circumstances or conditions in the conditions of contract which entitles the contractor for additional cost and time. The event the contractor encounters a situation which he could not have expected at the time of tender by an experienced contractor. Here again, the onus of the proof lies with the contractor, which is practically difficult with qualification given in the soil report. My personal opinion, substantiated by certain court decision, is that the presence of the above clause in the condition of contract shall benefit the contractor rather than the employer. If the same happens to be underground conditions, and if it could be proved that the contractor has no access to the project site to verify the given soil data before the tender submission, and the liability of the contractor to bill for the intent and purpose it is the duty of the contractor to check the clauses which deals with the unforeseen underground conditions and price such risk. One way of mitigating this risk in lump sum contracts, the inclusion of realistic provisional quantities for substructure, and the same is subject to remeasurement. As the substructure portion can be finalized much earlier in the execution stage, the final amount of the contract can be adjusted at an early stage. Escalation of material, plant and labor prices. Construction of medium-sized projects usually take 1 year. Lot of things can happen within 1 year, particularly at present. The prices are always on the increase. The only exception is the lowering of prices after a steep rise during the period of stabilization. This is one aspect which requires careful consideration while pricing by the contractor. It is the duty of the contractor to have the list of all suppliers, and it is also important to cultivate good relationship with the suppliers. As explained before, it is of primary importance to estimate correctly all quantities of material and the material status chart to be prepared to know when these materials shall be required at site in order to prepare materials ordering schedule during the construction. Material purchase negotiation can be carried out on that basis It is very important to have agreement with the suppliers, to have fixed price agreement throughout the contract period. Payment terms should be based on interim payment receipt. The ideal case would be no escalation of prices during the contract period, and suppliers' payment can be met with the receipt of interim or monthly payments. This will reduce the financial difficulties such as the necessity of payment upfront for materials. The escalation of prices for labor and plant can be controlled much easier than materials, particularly with in-house labor and plant. Careful consideration to be given in the event of labor and plant are to be hired outside the parties, as again the agreements need to be made similar to that of materials given above. Escalation of prices during contract period is a reality, in particularly in contracts with longer duration. The contractor usually prices this risk by assuming a certain percentage increase across the board of materials. Escalation clauses the conditions of contract, where there are provisions for payment for increase in the base tender price of materials during the contract are now available in certain contracts. Employers need to be convinced the benefit of and fairness of such clauses. Risk with the specification. In the good olden days, reputed companies were supplying materials and construction methods with such materials are well known and pricing work was easy. Now, lot of companies are producing material and there is a wide price difference, say even up to 100% in some cases, for some materials and plant meeting the same specification and produced in some other countries. Another new element has come up in the scene. The price difference between equipment produced and assembled in one country of origin and the equipment assembled in another country. There is another factor in the equation, as some consultants insisting on specific products and not prepared to accept alternatives meeting the same specification. This can lead to financial disaster of a contractor, particularly contracts with high equipment components. In the event contract is priced based on one country product and the requirement at site is a product from another country. Both products have the same technical specifications. The contractor has to read carefully the specification and has to indicate in the tender which country products they are used in their tender price build-up. This can allow the contractor to claim in the event the consultant insisted of another country product. Political risk. First one, political stability. The contractor has to consider the political stability of a country before doing any construction. The political stability can create situations such as the very existence of the employees at the site may be not possible, let alone the project. Some insurance companies cover for such risk with high premium and the same can be passed to the client as a cost element. However, it is not advisable to do any work in a country where there is no guarantee of political stability for at least 5 years. Concern on the availability and employment of expatriate staff. In certain countries, there are many government pressure to employ locals at all levels. Careful consideration to be given regarding availability of such resources in the host country, their skill levels, the average salaries, as this may involve additional costs and the same to be considered in pricing. Insistence on the use of local firms and agents. The contractor has to analyze the cost variations in such an eventuality and include the same in pricing. Customs and import restriction procedures. There are many restrictions on import of products. The procedure for such exercise can be long and complicated in certain countries. The project requirement to be studied and the risk to be considered in the pricing. Difficulties in disposing plant and equipment. Some countries insist that all plant and equipment brought for the project to be disposed locally upon completion of the project and not allowed to remove. It is not always possible to obtain a reasonable second-hand value in local market for this equipment and plant, and there is no way to take them back, so there is a loss. This shortfall is expected in return of these equipment and plants. This cost element should be considered in the pricing. Logistical risk. Availability of resources, materials, construction, equipment, spare parts, fuel, transportation facilities. This is a cost element and the same to be considered in pricing. Construction risk. Uncertainty of product resources. Weather and seasonal implications. Industrial relation problems. In certain countries, the company norms in relation to labor and plant cannot be applicable to climate conditions such as lower temperature, low visibility, too much rain. The host country can be subject to local industrial laws which may not be the same as that of the company. The contractor should be aware of the above facts, make necessary adjustments in their pricing. Financial risk, inflation, availability and fluctuation in foreign exchange, delay in payment, repatriation of funds, local taxes. There are possibilities of some or all of these above risks in certain contracts. That the contractor should be aware and the above facts make necessary adjustments in the pricing. Third-party liabilities. The contractor should be aware of third-party liabilities that can come into play in certain projects. The contractor should be aware of the above facts, make necessary insurance cover that may be required for same and to be included in the costing of the project. Thank you.